Hello, y'all. Today is Saturday, June 27th, 2020. I know I was supposed to have done another video later last night, but I was too tired and too sleepy. And then could not sleep until, I couldn't sleep until like maybe after 3 o'clock or after 3:30 or something. And then I just, I got some sleep, but not enough, but I kept waking up. So I'm still kind of feeling that deprived feeling and pressure on my chest and stuff, So, it really gets scary. I thought, as targeted individuals, it's like, do any of y'all feel like it's appropriate to say that we're fighting for our lives, that we're fighting for our life? We were fighting for we are fighting for our life, and it's a battle. So my mind is not on point right now, but I'm still need to talk before I get out of this hotel room, because I can't concentrate as well when I'm outside in front of everybody, So I'm just going to talk about, my day from yesterday. And last night I was supposed to talk about it, but I was too tired. So yesterday when I checked out the hotel, I was on my way to this restaurant and to go eat. And so then they had this couple, or this 3 people in the car. I don't know if it was 2 females and a guy. And they told me that I have an extra room. That I wasn't supposed to check out. And I'm like, what you mean? And they told me that the girl at the front desk said that, why is she checking out? She's not supposed to check out until tomorrow. She has an extra night or something. So I thought that they applied the free night from the little deal or promotion. But I guess I have to go and reapply for a separate free night or whatever for that. But I think they said that it's not guaranteed or something like that. I don't know. Because when I tried to, yesterday when I tried to apply for the free night, it still was charging me. Trying to charge me, But I didn't follow through with the transaction. But it was showing prices like to try to charge me. So that's why, I didn't follow through. But so then I called the girl at the front desk, and she was new and in training. And so I questioned her about it. And of course, she looked like she was young and in her early 20s. And of course, she got an attitude with me and talked to me like I'm slow with no sense, or like I'm lower than her or younger than her or something, And then they said that girl wasn't supposed to check out. I'm a 36-year-old woman. See, they addressing me as girl and have zero respect for me and everything, and think that they can dog over me any kind of way and stuff, So the girl got an attitude with me and told me that I didn't have an extra free night. And she told me that I didn't have an extra night or anything like that. And some more stuff was said, I don't remember. But when I questioned her about the promotion, she was like, no, we don't do that here. Like, you saying we don't do that here. But if you knew it and in training, you would be like, well, wait a minute, let me check with my manager. Rather than acting like as if you think you make the rules, So then, later on, I checked my bank account, and I tried to, I saw that they attempted to charge another $73.64, but it declined because I didn't have enough. But that would have been fucked up if I would have had enough money and they secretly charged my account and then I'm sitting there on the streets. That would have been fucked up. See, it seems like now I'm struggling, and people find all kinds of ways to fuck over me and take advantage, So I called the hotel again, and there was another girl. Of course, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm just got on here, and I don't know nothing about that," and stuff like that, So, then yesterday I was holding up my sign, my homeless targeted individual sign, and I got frustrated seeing like almost, when I walk by with the sign, I don't see that happen to other homeless people, but when it happens to me, it's like I hold my sign, walk around, which I hardly ever hold a sign. I just walk up to person to person on the public street and ask from person to person. But I was holding up my sign, and people walk by and intentionally look the other way they intentionally look the other way to avoid looking at the sign, and I just would feel hurt while they're walking around with their New Orleans. They have daiquiris, and it seems like, I guess the Gulf Coast is all the same. I thought it was just New Orleans, but they had the daiquiris like an alcoholic slushy or alcoholic, and I wouldn't say smoothie, but it's like an alcoholic slushy. So they walk around with their alcoholic daiquiris or their beer or whatever expensive alcoholic drink in their hand. And it's like I'm sitting here and they're eating at the finest restaurants in my face, and I'm like, people don't have the money to help you, but they have enough money to treat them and their friends who are just as rich as them, friends and family. They have enough money to treat them, but not necessarily me, but with some other homeless person too, if they got money to, just spend it on themselves, nobody needs to drink alcohol, but you sitting there eating in luxury while another human being, wondering where your next meal is. Remember I told you the fake foster family and friends of the family would act like as if they're predicting my homelessness? The foster mom thought I was going to grow up to be a homeless, crazy prostitute. That's what she was trying to condition me during my... How the hell you tell that to somebody that's 14 or 15 years old? And people shut me out whenever I try to tell them about the abuses and stuff. And people won't think I should just let it go and it's in the past now. Well, I didn't... There's people saying let it go and it's in the past now. But let it go, it's in the past. I didn't have my time, my shine to talk back then. So yeah, I'm going to keep freaking talking about it. So then I went to this restaurant last night. I'm going to go ahead and say the restaurant, Wet Willie's, downtown. And they had this young white girl. I think on my first day there, I think I remember she was nice and understanding and helpful and trying to find me homeless resources and stuff like that, and giving me phone numbers and stuff. But now, that other time, my first time, I've been there like yesterday, I guess it would have been like my 4th or 5th time there. And they were nice enough to let me charge my phone and stuff while I eat. While I pay for my food and eat. And I never go there to a restaurant and order something and don't have the money, unless they overcharge me, but, what happened was the first day was a black girl who, when I went to, they had a 2 for $12 special, and what the black girl did was she gave me a small cup of lemonade and then charged me separately for the lemonade and $1.75 for the lemonade and $10.75 for the food, so which would have charged me a whole $1 and something cents extra. So I had enough money, but I questioned the girl about why she charged me extra, and then there was a black guy who pitched in and offered to pay for my food when he heard me questioning why the girl overcharged me. I had enough money, but the girl, I just was asking why she overcharged me like that. And so then there was a black guy who was one of the customers, and he pitched in and he paid for my food for me. So then yesterday I went. That was my first day there, you know. And then the manager or the owner or whatever was like, "Oh, well, I'm a take it off this time, but next time we're not gonna do whatever." I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't my fault. This is what she did, you know. So then come to find out, I was supposed to get a 20-ounce bigger cup of lemonade, because you have to choose between the daiquiri or lemonade or something alcoholic. And I don't drink alcohol, so you had to charge. Lemonade, soda, alcohol, or whatever, or the daiquiri. And so, in addition to one of their food items, and so at that place, they want to see your ID. The first 2 times they didn't ask me for my ID. They want to see your ID. They do a forced questionnaire, and then they take a temperature check. And it's like, wow, are they using the temperature on your forehead? Isn't that conditioning you to accept conditioning you for the mark of the beast? So, they make you go through all that just to go and eat, which is stupid. Not every restaurant does that. So, then the girl, yesterday she walked up to me after I got in the restaurant and started to question me, talking about me having I think she just wanted an excuse to pick on me, and falsely accused me of not having the money for the food. And then she tried to say, because we're not gonna pay for your food if you don't have enough money, extra money. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. And I'm like, wait a minute now. And she's like in her early 20s trying to attack me, and so then younger than me, and then she try to, like, it really feels like a psychological and mental version of what we saw what happened to George Floyd, which they said was a psyop anyway. But I felt psychologically and mentally stepped on like an ant or a roach or something. The way she treated me and try to think she has so much high power over me, and she's younger than me. And so she started to question me, and then the moment I tried to explain, she walked off and brick-walled me and said she didn't have time and that she was busy, and she was busy. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me explain myself. And so the bartender was supposedly in charge at the moment. Then there was another man later on who was the manager who, I'm like, well, who's in charge here, Yeah, they all act like they think they're the manager. So the so-called bartender let me explain myself, but she's like, well, I wasn't here, so I don't, So then she's like, well, she has a right to ask. She has a right to ask questions. I'm like, well, here I'm sitting here trying to explain, and y'all all brickwalling me, telling me you don't want to hear my explanation and stuff. And so then I got mad and left. And I had nowhere to go and eat or charge nowhere else, because the Loda Bar's place, Loda Beer Garden, that was where the guy tried to scam me. He tried to overcharge me, and then try to keep my tip, and then try to wouldn't let me continue charging my phone, and he rushed me out of the restaurant, and then trying to welcome himself to tips that I didn't offer him, and then try to rush me out the restaurant. So it seemed like these rich, it seemed like I'd be having to go try to spend $10 or less, or $12 if I'm a little lucky. But it seemed like they expect big tips from you too, And it's like, how come it's okay for them to expect money? Oh, because they working. Well, people won't let me work. So then I left and was mad. And it seemed like that was the only place I had no choice but to go, because my phone was down to 3%. And so then the girl falsely accused me of trying to go there just to charge my phone and not eat. I never did that. I always order something to eat because I gotta eat anyway, you know. And so then the girl was giving me mean looks and kept a distance from me the whole time. And then she was telling that older white lady, she was putting stuff in her head and telling her stuff about me, you know. But I'm glad the older lady, I'm glad she was, you know, respectful. That younger girl, she was white too, and it's like she tried to act like, and I said, "Are you the manager?" And she's like, "No." Well, I'm like, "Well, why are you asking me all these questions and you're not the manager?" And then the bartender, hardcore butch man, that like well, she has a right to ask. She has a right to ask questions. But then when I'm freaking explaining, then you walk off and ignore me and try to avoid me and try to make it like as if I'm impeding you from trying to work or whatever, you know. So it's like at least 4 downtown restaurants or places to eat have given me a problem. Probably more than that, you know. And I just freaking got here. Today makes 2 weeks since I've been here. So then, you know, I'm glad somebody paid for me a hotel room, somebody from Twitter. And so then last night they had people blasting music outside, bass music, and all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. And the hotel staff just let it happen. And then the people next door were and like it seemed like it must have been an oversized child or an adult acting like a child, that they kept stumping, running around and intentionally stumping really hard on purpose just to keep me awake. They were right next to me. And boom, boom. All I heard was like stumping and booms and banging and everything like that. I just don't see how the hell people do stuff like that. And you tell me I'm immature with no sense, or because I don't have the ability to ignore it, that will make me immature. But it's okay for them to do whatever. So then last night, somebody named Don Stanley tried to tell me in my video about creating your own jobs. He tried to say, well, that's not, he said, oh, the stuff that you describe is not gang stalking and stuff like that. And I don't remember what else he said, but he tried to say, oh, what you describe is not gang stalking. And he tried to minimize my stuff to being just petty complaints. And then he tried to say that me being prevented from work, that's not gang stalking. And then he tried to make it like as if I have to have a better business model or whatever. Fuck a business model. Why can't we just make and sell? The hell about a doggone business model? You know, you didn't used to have a so-called business model nowadays. I'm sorry, back then. But you do nowadays. I'm sorry, I'm talking ahead of myself because I got a couple more minutes and I'm rushing. So, and then he tried to say you have to have money in order to make money for your business. And then he tried to say Michael Barton has a business and Michael Barton has money. And that's how he's able to have his business or whatever. You know, so, and they try to make it like as if I'm illogical and have these gang stalking perps try to make it like as if I'm brain dead or something like that, you know. But he had like 0 subscribers, and it seemed like as if he just wanted to create a YouTube account just to fuck with me, you know. So I blocked him, and they try to think they're more logical and smarter than you. And so then this morning I went down to go and eat breakfast. They had a retarded, mentally slow white man. He waited till I walked past to go to the refrigerator and go get milk. And then he started to suck and smack his food on purpose. But before then, he wasn't smacking his food, but he waited till I get by. And this man looked like he's at least 50 years old. And you do childish shit like that, you know? But you have a car to freaking drive. But the foster mom said, I don't have the mentality or the sense to drive, or that I'm too immature. Then they had this black gay faggot who, when I went the second time to go get in the refrigerator to get some milk, he was drinking apple juice and then wait till he got in my ear and start purposely smacking his mouth on purpose. You know how ghetto ignorant people do. Like after they finish after they finish eating and drinking something, and then they smack, exaggerate on purpose, you know. It felt like high school bullying all over again. And I bet you that fag has a car too, you know. And so it's like I can't even enjoy my breakfast. And then he looked at me like as if I'm crazy, and looked at me like as if he wanted to fight me when I turned around and gave him a certain look. Like, why you smacking your mouth in my ear? It's like he waited till he got right behind me and started to do that on purpose, you know, when he wasn't doing it when he was sitting at the table and earlier, you know. So I'll see y'all later because my storage space is running out. Bye-bye.